Welcome to the Real View podcast, where Ohio Realtors connect you to innovators and influencers, keeping you with the real view of real estate. Whether you're a broker, agent, first-time homebuyer, industry leader, or just happen to stumble upon our podcast today, you can expect to hear tips, tools, tricks, interesting information, and so much more from the experts in Ohio's real estate game. And welcome back to the Real View podcast. I am your host, Allison Wiley. Joining me today, I would like to welcome back Veronica Cardello. She is Ohio Realtors Assistant Vice President of External Engagement. And I would also like to welcome on for the first time, Spaid, Patras, Director of Research at the Greater Ohio Policy Center. Ladies, welcome on to the show. We're so happy to have you.
Hi, Allison. Thank you.
Allison. Thank you.
Yes, and we are diving into today's topic of a really exciting new initiative that was just released a couple weeks ago to the public. A very exciting new toolkit that will hopefully help alleviate some of this stress that has been on our housing shortage that we're currently experiencing. But before we get into today's topic, and Veronica and Erica are going to share all the details of this exciting new initiative, what it was like building up this process, all the partnerships that were involved in ways that, local governments and realtors and people that are listening across the state and even out of state, might be able to get some ideas from this and can start implementing it right now. But before we get started in that, I would like to hear from you all. Could you both tell us a little bit about what you do and your respective roles? I'll start with you, Veronica.
Yeah, absolutely. So my role revolves around community building. So really including fostering partnerships between our local realtor associations and their local governments. So lately we've been focused on innovative solutions like Housing Ohio, tools for developments to help solve some of our problems with the housing challenges that we face in our state. But we were really excited to get the ball rolling.
Thank you. Erica, what about you?
Well, I'm the Director of Research at the Greater Ohio Policy Center. Greater Ohio is a statewide public policy group. We do a lot of advocacy at the State House, but we also do kind of consulting in local communities. So we have two perspectives and kind of a statewide perspective on issues. We really work toward revitalization of Ohio's communities. And we do that always with a research base in mind. And that's how we got connected with Veronica and started putting together this book.
Well, and that was the perfect intro right there. Because I was going to say, let's just start with the beginning. I would love to hear about those initial conversations, the initial ideas surrounding this, and maybe even before that. Could you tell our listeners who aren't aware about Housing Ohio Tools for Development, what it is and why we wanted to bring it to Ohio?
Sure. I can talk about the book. So the book is called Housing Ohio Tools for Development, as you mentioned. You can find it on housingoh.org. All the information is there. The book can be downloaded. There are building plans, which we'll talk about here in a minute. They can be downloaded on that website as well. So there's a lot of good information there. But this book is really a series of 3 toolkits that local governments, land banks, builders, even homeowners can use to develop housing in Ohio. And those 3 tools are voluntary. Anyone can use them anywhere in Ohio. The building plans are licensed anywhere in Ohio. Specifically, the 3 tools are a la carte zoning adjustments, which are really small, actionable zoning adjustments that local governments can make to incentivize development. The second tool is 2 free building plans. These are plans with construction documents, and each one has multiple variations, so there's a lot of flexibility in the plans. One is a narrow single-family house, and the other is a really cool, we call it a flexible front-back duplex. We can talk more about that. And then the third tool in the toolkit is kind of a guide to expediting a pre-approved permitted building plan program. It's a real mouthful to say, but good to do. So the idea behind these pre-approved programs is that a local government has, in advance, before anyone has come to them asking for a permit, they've reviewed a set of architectural plans in advance and granted permitting status to them. So when you do come and need to get approval, you only need to get approval on the site plan instead of the entire package. This expedites the speed of development. It increases the certainty that developers have in the permitting process. It can reduce fees if a local government chooses to offer that for free. So these are the 3 tools, and we outline them in the book. We think that they can be used individually or together for even greater impact. And you can find it all on housingoh.org.
Thank you for that. That was such a great description of this. And you kind of just explained some of the benefits of why this is such a great tool for developers, for cities to use. And like you mentioned, it really expedites the process to build homes. And, we hear that so often is a barrier when it comes to inventory and raising those supplies is just, we can't keep up with the pace that homes need to be built. And this is a really great way to do that. So I want to hear a little bit more about this partnership, which you kind of teased about in the beginning. It took, it took a village to get this done. And that was the really cool thing to see, with this is the amount of support and the amount of organizations that were involved in this. It's really cool to work on a project. And I'm sure you guys know that has so many interested parties, all working together towards the same goal. Talk to us a little bit about what that was like, the community partners that were involved and that collaboration aspect when we were putting together this project.
So this was absolutely no small task. I will say it started really with an understanding of what Ohio communities really needed. So we worked with a myriad of folks, architects, designers, building experts, everybody that you can think of that had a hand in housing. And we really made this a collaborative process. So we held focus groups with these individuals, consulted with these experts, and even engaged our community leaders to provide us feedback. We wanted these homes to feel like they were truly belonged in Ohio. And so that's why we really reached out to this team of folks all across the state.
Yeah, that's super important. I think, that we can make it work in Ohio, that it fits in these communities, that we're giving, people stuff that they can actually use and implement, that's different than maybe some other, how other states approach it or what other states are doing. Have you seen some other states do similar things? Is this kind of unique here in Ohio, or what examples are out there that are similar to what we've been able to do?
Well, I would say we were the first.
Let's say that one more time. We got to say it one more time.
we can say that we were the first, but I'll let Erica elaborate as to who beat us to the punch.
Yeah.
We are really close to the first, but Michigan has done a book that's similar. They offer some plans there. And then Vermont has also done something similar. It's a little bit different, but is in the same vein as this. But we really are in the forefront of states looking at this. There are other places in the country where local governments have developed programs like these. But to try to roll it out at the state level and provide support across the entire state, that is more rare. And yeah, we are part of leading the charge on that.
Yeah, always exciting. And that's what I was like, we have to say this. We were the first to do it kind of in this way. And I think that's like what's really cool about it. And, if you were at our Realtors at the Rotunda Day, which you heard Erica speak on the panel surrounding this topic, and we had some other, legislators shout us out for the work that we did around this. And they just said, you know what? There was some struggles on who was going to put this together and who wanted to take on that challenge of making this a living, breathing tool for everyone to use. And, you stepped up with us at Greater Ohio Policy Center. I know Veronica stepped up, and the amount of partnership and teamwork who just said, like, all right, no one wants to do this. We're going to be the ones to do this, and we're going to come together and do this and get it done. And we did, which is really, really cool to see. And it's incredible to think about the amount of work that's like gone into this, right? How long did this process take from like these first initial conversations to getting to the point where we are now, where it's been released to the public?
I think, Erica, we've been working on this project for almost 3 years now?
Wow.
I That's what I was going to say. Was it 2 or 3? But I think you're right. We started, even before we started working on the book, we did a big national scan of all the programs nationally where there are pre-approved. We were really interested in the pre-approval program aspect. And so we looked at those nationally and tried to think about how would they translate to Ohio. That was the first step. And that took several months. And then we started to see, even before we were totally done with that, the potential of this book. And then we began working on it. But it's really we've been working on it in earnest for the last year, very hard, on each of the details of the book.
I remember the day that I came to GOPC, and when we started to first see the actual results of this national scan, and I was like, this is doable. We can do this in Ohio, guys. Do you want to?
Yeah.
And that's the exact kind of attitude I think that the legislators at our rotunda day, praised us for. So hats off and shout out to you guys for doing something when no one else wanted to do it. And I mean, it's been a lot of work, which, we've heard you explain everything that went into it. How does it feel now that this is released and it's out there, and hopefully we're starting to see, some people take advantage of this? How does it feel now that all that hard work has kind of really, come together here?
Amazing. Honestly, it feels so amazing to see the outpouring of the overwhelming positivity that we've received from all of our municipal governments, from our realtor members, from other industries that were instrumental in helping us identify different needs. It was absolutely phenomenal because everyone's so excited to see such a practical solution to help solve our housing problems. And when we started receiving a lot of positive feedback from our community leaders and residents, they just started rallying behind the fact that we can get housing done here in Ohio. And we got to make it simple.
100%. And, that's what's so great about this. It's so oftentimes you hear these problems and it's like they're almost too big to even begin to wrap your head around. It's like property tax is the one that we talk about all the time. Like, this is such a huge issue. How do we even wrap our heads around this? You know what I mean? So it's really cool to see, solutions being brought to the table like this that is making such a huge problem, such as inventory, really kind of small when you look at it this way. You've removed so many of those barriers, and you explain kind of the goal of this book and what, it's intended to provide. And it really does remove those barriers and helps alleviate this situation, which is nice to see when it comes to such massive problems sometimes. So I think that's really cool.
Absolutely, Allison. I think the best part about this whole process has been what we really identified as we've been demolishing homes in Ohio for nearly 2 decades, and no one came up with a playbook to put a house back on that lot. So I think this is going to really help solidify for our communities what they're capable of. They can actually do this.
Yeah, it's such a great solution to what's been a pretty complicated and hard problem for a lot of people to solve, a lot of communities to solve. I know we had a press conference the day before Realtors at Rotunda Day at the Ohio State House, which was awesome and really was the big reveal for this project. And you all make sure you take a look at these plans. And Erica went through, some of the offerings that are included in this book. There is a ton of really great options. And if you were at our Realtors at the Rotunda Day or the press conference the day before, these plans were laid out really nicely on stage and at the press conference, and you could see exactly what's included in that book. And they're really cool, really nice designs. So they look great. Not only are they a great solution, but I think they look beautiful, and they're going to be really awesome options for our communities. But we did have a community leader. The mayor of Lima was in attendance at that press conference. And then we also had another mayor at the panel on Rotunda Day. I'm going to forget which one it is.
Mayor Patterson.
Yes. And so talk to us a little bit about what it's been like to work with the mayors and what their opinions and perceptions on this has been like, and how you've worked with kind of some of these community leaders.
I'll kick it to you.
We had a couple of mayors, including Mayor Patterson, on the committee that advised the development of this book. And so we were able to make sure that we were meeting their needs and understand what, give them a chance to share what their needs are. So it's been great to have their input, both in the development of the book and then now in response to it. I think we've all been hearing people just appreciative of having us suggest some tools for, some strategies for addressing this problem. And we're hearing that from mayors and legislators. A lot of people in Ohio have said that to us, that it's been valuable to have industry offer solutions for the public sector to then pick up. So we're pleased with that.
This episode of The Real View is brought to you by the Ohio Association of Community Colleges. Ohio's network of community colleges provides accessible training that accommodates the busy lifestyles of aspiring real estate professionals at half the price of a traditional university. With convenient locations in every part of the state, as well as online options, Ohio's community colleges are your smart choice for pre-licensing education. For more details or to start the journey to a real estate career, visit the education page at ohiorealtors.org and then click on the pre-license course locations.
Yeah, no, that's been great. It's great to see the level of support on kind of across all the levels of government, state being in support, locals being in support. It seems like everyone's really on the same page about this, which has also been really cool to see. Veronica, from like a realtor's perspective and working with our members, what has that been like? I know, I'm on our Facebook all the time being in the marketing world. And when this was first released, the amount of comments we were receiving from our realtor members was really awesome to see. Talk to us about what that reception has been like from our Ohio realtors.
Our realtor members actually have been very instrumental in helping identify areas with the highest needs. So as soon as we started this project, I cannot tell you how many of our members have reached out and said, hey, my community needs something like this. This is what I think we need to really focus on and fine tune. And so it's been so positive from our members that it's been very, very enlightening to see that we have so many people out there that really do want to help and make that difference in their community. So I can only imagine what they're doing now that the book is finally released. I know Erica and I've been watching the how many downloads has been happening on the website. So it's really been phenomenal to see our members really work together for this solution and support it through and through.
I was just going to say that as a non-realtor, I've noticed that the kind of entrepreneurial spirit of realtors has really shown. Like Veronica, when we were at Realtors at the Rotunda, just out in the hallway, you had people coming up to you and they were already thinking about how this could be paired with city-owned land and ways that they could use it creatively in their own communities. And so that's been really exciting.
Absolutely. I've had several members email me and just ask me directly, can my client take these plans and just build this house? And absolutely, they totally can.
Yes.
And that's why we built this tool, is we wanted to make sure that it was versatile, but it also was attainable to everybody out there.
Absolutely. So if you are a realtor and you're interested in this and listening and want to, get more involved, what would you say the role of the realtor should be through this? Should they be reaching out to you? Should they be, working with their, clients, like you said, to start putting some of these homes in place? How can we as realtors get involved in this and help make some of these plans into reality?
I think that's a great question. We have so many different avenues that we can pursue when it comes to having our realtor members involved. They can have their individual clients build these homes themselves. When it comes to the working with municipalities, I cannot tell you how many of our members have reached out and said, hey, I'm a township trustee, or hey, I'm a mayor of this local government, and I really want to implement this in my area. So I think it comes from all avenues, is that our members are going to be so involved and engaged in this process. It's really going to transition housing for the better in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if realtors can be part of the group that is helping support local government in making zoning changes and adopting pre-approval programs, that will really help support the uptick of those changes in Ohio, which we do think will decrease the barriers to high quality housing development in this infill context that we've been talking about in particular.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's really the great part about being a part of Ohio Realtors is that you do have the voice to do this. You can, go to your local communities. You can be involved in making some of these changes happen. And that's really cool. So I highly encourage everyone to take a look at this, get involved, see how you can start putting some of this into motion in your local communities, because it really is a great tool, and a ton of work has gone into making it a reality. So as we talked about a little bit, the coverage on this book has been so great. And we talked a little bit about the reception from, some local leaders and within our own community and our own circles. But talk to us about the reception from the news media and some of the individuals who may not have been super involved in this project. I know, it's been pretty good. Tell us a little bit about what that's been like and the reception from the general public.
Okay, you want to start?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we've got some coverage. The Dispatch has covered this. They did a great article. We had the realtors in Columbus were quoted in that article supporting the idea of thinking about housing outside the box in the way that this toolkit does. I know it's been covered in the Mahoning Valley by the Vindicator. We've also had just a lot of traffic on the site and a lot of downloads of the book. I know the plans have been downloaded. So we think, and then Veronica's just talking to everyone in the whole state about it, I think. So she's got all kinds of anecdotes. So I think it's really getting out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had individual stories in different local media markets. I know that we do have a national outlet that's picking up our story. So stay tuned for that one. That one's going to be a really great story when that releases. But the media coverage itself has been very enlightening to see that we are doing something really that lights our fire and makes us passionate about housing. We're getting the recognition because we're so passionate about housing in Ohio. So we're really excited to see the real impact this has on all of our communities and how we can really transition into an easier place to build.
Absolutely. And talk to us too a little bit about how having programs like this in place and tools like this in place really helps build up those communities, and maybe talk about the community impact that it has. And when we have strong homes like this and easy ways to do housing, what is the larger impact that this has on communities?
Well, we see it as being a tool that addresses all kinds of needs. It will provide housing, first and foremost, high quality, attainably priced housing. But by filling in these infill parcels, it also stabilizes neighborhoods, increases property values, helps local governments provide better services. All of those things are really good things. And then it's a good way to utilize existing infrastructure by building on those infill parcels. So there's a municipal kind of conservatism in that we don't need to build all new infrastructure because we can use what we already have by building on the lots that are already there. So we think that it checks a lot of boxes in terms of being good for Ohio communities and helping them be fiscally sustainable while also, strengthening neighborhoods and then meeting just the basic need for housing.
Absolutely. What has been I'm going to ask both of you this question. Your favorite part about working on this project, or do you have a favorite thing? It could be kind of a two-part question, or what's been your favorite part of this project, or your favorite part of the actual pattern book and the tools for development?
I think my favorite part is calling Erica and be like, Erica, I got an idea.
Yeah, working with Veronica is right up there. That's what you meant, right?
Yes.
I mean, there are a lot of parts. It's just been really encouraging and uplifting to see how engaged people were. I think people just really respond. The people in the committee, the people in my office, you, Veronica, and all the experiences that you've had. People just really, it makes sense to people to do this, and that it's been nice to see that it just kind of clicks in. But then more specifically, I also really like the duplex that our architect designed. It's, I kind of want it. You can have, it's really flexible. You can have this front unit, which is a 3-bedroom front unit, and then the rear unit can be a single-story rear unit that you could rent out, or you can have it be flexible as part of the house so that you have an interior connection. You can decide whether or not you want that interior connection. And I just think that seems really great for like having an aging parent who lives kind of in the back studio, but you want to be able to be close to them, or you can use it as an office. There's just a lot of flexibility, like over your lifetime living in the house. It can be used in many different ways. And so I think that's cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing the first one built.
Yeah, I want one too.
Yeah. I'm with you, Erica. Like that is absolutely out of all of the designs that we have, that is absolutely my favorite design. That is the one I highlight every time I go to a new community and I'm talking to our community leaders. I'm like, this is the house that we need to build because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So age in place.
Yes.
Yep. There's your cure to property taxes right there, right? Go in the houses like this that has that flexibility. So I know we are just at the beginning of what we're going to see and how this evolves. And it's going to be so exciting to see. And like you said, Erica, watch those first couple homes be built. Going to be exciting for sure. What does the future look like with projects like these? Do you guys have any plans of evolution, or what's next? I know it's not the end on this project just because it's been released now and people are able to start utilizing it. But what does the future look like, and what are the plans for the future of this?
I think that there's always room to evolve. So as our communities start to develop and start to really implement the toolkit that we put together, we'll continue to collect that feedback, refine our designs, and even create versions that are tailored to specific regions in Ohio. So we really have that flexibility. So we didn't want to make this something that was finite. We wanted to make sure that we were really including things for mixed use developments and make sure that there's so much potential that these communities can really thrive to build a better future in Ohio. So I think that, dare I say this, there may be a part 3 to this. And Erica will love it because it will like extend our relationship out to 5 years.
This is a long-term, serious, committed relationship now.
It's a very committed relationship.
Yeah. We just had our 3rd year anniversary, so going strong.
So we've already had communities reach out and ask for ranch-style homes, 4-plexes, 8-plexes, 6-plexes. Like, so it has been phenomenal to see the reception. So I think that there is absolutely room for improvement for our Housing Ohio Tools for Development.
Yeah, I hope that the future brings some local programs, local governments using these as a starting point and developing their own program, their own plans for their own community, making the zoning changes. That would be awesome. I think, as I alluded to earlier about what the realtors are saying about using city land, we'll be looking for ways where we can layer this on to other programs to get like the most benefit as possible, and just continue to provide supports so that local governments can implement it all around the state.
Yeah, this is just the beginning. I think, the sky's the limit to where this thing can go. It's going to be really cool to watch it grow and expand, over the next few years. And I can't wait to watch what you guys are going to do next. We're going to have another one of these in, a few years down the line to talk about all the new updates and changes and reflect on how many, new homes have been built because of this. So I want to thank both of you for joining me here today, and hats off to the two of you for working so hard and doing this when, it seemed like so many did not want to do it. So thank you guys for putting in the work and making this amazing new option come to life. And Erica, share with us again where individuals listening can go to download and find the toolkit.
It's all on the website, housingoh.org. And I want to thank the realtors. You guys have been out in front on this, and this wouldn't have happened without your support. So thanks for seeing how it could be helpful and then working with us to get it done.
Well, thank you. And thank you for being our partner, in this, along with, many others. It really did take a village to get this project up and running, but it is now. And it's so great to see. Make sure you guys check out that website, go download the book, check it out, take it to your local governments, take it to your city leaders, and maybe we can hopefully start seeing some homes being built. So really exciting stuff. Thank you guys again, both, so much for joining me. We will be back next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to The Real View. That wraps up today's episode. You can keep up with the latest on the podcast at ohiorealtors.org/therealview and on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Have questions, comments, or suggestions? We want to hear from you. Email us at podcast@ohiorealtors.org. We'll see you next time.